Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Lilu Nishmas Imi Merosi Ruspas Mordechai. It's very disrespectful. I'm saying Lilu Nishmas, my mother. Wow. Rabbi Isai, we have. Yeah. You just crossed the line. It's okay. It's good. I was messing with him. Rabbi Isai, we have a chassan in the house. What's your name? Chassan from California. What's your name? Yossi Lipsker. Shalom Aleichem, Mazel Tov. And you are?
Yankee Wolf, Long Meadow, Massachusetts.
Yankee Wolf from Massachusetts. My mother's Aleha Shalom's hometown. Right, so we show a lot of good morning Rabbi Isai's. And the Olam here, the regulars, sometimes they snicker, they make fun of it. I caught one of the Roish HaSnickers teaching other people how to do it behind the scenes. Here it is. Rabbi Isai, here it is. You're not going to believe it. In a very, very mahadran restaurant, a really good restaurant in Petach Tikva, last night, he's teaching non-observant Jews how to do it. And they're loving it. They Pashut loved it. Look at this. Are you ready? Look at that geschmack.
Good morning.
1 minute. And this is it. Oh no, it's a different one. Okay. And now, after all the training, he's standing there in the middle of a restaurant, busy restaurant, screaming on top of his lungs, Meshuggah. But when he comes here, he pretends he doesn't like it. He doesn't enjoy it. Then we're going to have a video of MDY Family, the biggest of the Snickers. Look at the hana these guys had. They had such hana. Great guys. Okay. This actually gives me a lot of nachas. Rabbi Isai, listen to this. I thought that attached photo would give you some inspiration. A few months ago, you read out an email from Reb Aaron Mordcha Lublex, something like that, saying how he took a leaf out of your book. He gave up work, a lot of his work, to go learn and start to give shiur online. He has like 1,500 people on Oiraisa in Yiddish. Well, he has done a first in Stamford Hill. He has started giving a shiur in Hasidish, a shul with a screen. Kol hakavod, unbelievable. Rav Eli, I don't know what you have done, but you have a corrupted Stamford Hill. Looking forward to see you in Stamford Hill. Look at this, and he has his own art. It's unbelievable. Kind regards, Mordechai Groskov.
You have to smuggle the screen in. There's no way.
I already introduced myself last week. I'm a recent transfer, Talmud to Yeshir from Yevamah's fifth cycle, as the free Gemara, I must correct, Rabbi Isai. A few days ago, I read an email from Reb David Stein. He's right here, Feinberg. He claimed that the story that I said was wrong. First of all, it wasn't a gun, it was a knife. It wasn't a sheitel, it was a tichel. It wasn't a bank, it was a this. It wasn't a that, it was a that. Here comes Mamish, a stira to everything he said, and Mamish upholds my story to the T. Okay, so don't correct my story. I must correct your rendition of the recent sheitel story. Apparently, there were two stories that were commingled. The first one I had 10 years ago in Pesach. I know because it happened to my sister-in-law. The second one happened, that was different. Anyway, my sister-in-law just happened to be in a bank when a man came in and held up a gun to her head. The teller pressed the silent alarm. Police were there almost instantly. The man held my sister-in-law at gunpoint to escape with a gun pointing at her head. SWAT team surrounding them like in the movies. At some point, my sister-in-law realized that the gunman was grabbing her sheitel. She dropped down to the floor with the gunman left pointing his gun at the sheitel with no head attached. And my sister-in-law flat on the ground, whereby the police shot the guy in his leg. And that's the real story. You hear, David? So there was a gun. He did get shot. You know what? You want to correct me? Correct me in learning. Don't correct me with mices, please. They're always them as my stories. The police had to keep the sheitel for a while as evidence. The bank reimbursed my sister-in-law for the new sheitel. And eventually she got her old one back. You know the real story. PBS, please have me in zin, meaning in mind, for Refuah Shlaima, for Yena Machla, Chaim, Yeshua, Ben Hendel, keep up the good, the fantastic work, Chaim. What are you tining?
It was covered. It looked like a gun. She said later she came out from the police. It was only a knife, and she knows the knife. She didn't know where security she said.
Not true.
Was the guy shot or not shot? Was the guy shot or not shot? But you said he wasn't even shot. Okay. She get together with my wife. Every time I say Maisa, it's the same story. I was walking down the street and 10 guys came over to me and I beat them all. No, it wasn't 10, it was 9. It was 9. We're running the story. Okay. I was able to meet with Rav Yaakov Lack. He's getting a lot of what's going on here? Rabbi said, give him his medicine. Oh, somebody, run. It's in the front. I told you. Doc, it's right by the door. When you walk in, just pop one. Although I don't ride, I do drink water occasionally and wear socks, says Abba Renner. He rides a bike and he wears socks. So I got the MDY water bottle and socks. Please know the team MDY jersey in the background because Torah is the best gula. Best regards, Abba Renner. And here finally we have Ari Zilberschlag. Good morning, Rav Eli. Every day learning the daf with you. On the way to work and BH Photo in Manhattan from Lakewood. Whatever that means. Whatever. He goes to BH Photo in Manhattan from Lakewood. Thank you for the good work. We have to say, there's only 5 more people. Shabbos. Baruch Furman took 20 daf in Shabbos. Ariel Lazovsky, he's here now?
Baruch took extra. He finished his one and he went in the platform.
He took extra. Givaldik Yochanan, Rabisher, Megillah, Ari, Shekinah, Kesubos, Stephen Jakubowski from Lincolnwood, Illinois, my neighbor, Kesubos 15, daf in Kesubos. Aaron Trowering, Shabbos. Rabbis, I want to tell you a story. This is an original. I know we don't have a lot of time, but I got to tell you, it culminated yesterday and it's fresh off the press. So I want to tell you, it's a beautiful story of Hashgacha Pratis, I thought. I never really shared it with the Olam, although I was telling my friends and family recently this Maisa. When we moved to Eretz Yisrael, we were in negotiations with a beautiful villa, like a nice standalone home, which is very rare here in Eretz Yisrael, on Nachal Ya'aleh. It's an exclusive street that has these villas. Today they have other streets, but very few of them. And this guy was losing it to the bank, and I negotiated him for quite a while, for a few months, and we had a deal. And one day he calls me up and he says, I need to meet with you. So I meet with him, and there's another guy, a big, real tough Israeli guy. He says, no, you're not giving him enough. I want to negotiate more. Bekitzer, the deal fell apart. And my wife was very bitzar. Here we had this beautiful house on Nachal Ya'aleh, and it ended up going to somebody else. And I was thinking to myself recently, I said, had I ever moved to Nachal Ya'aleh, I wouldn't have met the core guys that started the Shiur, 4 years ago. And I would have been in Nachal Ya'aleh doing nothing. And because I moved to this neighborhood, I met my friends here, and we have Gary and Yosef and Avi and Noam and Mendy and all the guys that started the Shiur, Nachum Seltzer and then Kornbluth and all these guys. They're all from this block right here. Of course, HaKadosh Baruch Hu could have done it in Nachal Ya'aleh, but Api, the Teva, what happened over here was because I moved to this block and we bought an apartment in an apartment building that cost me more than that standalone home. What happened was yesterday I met the guy. After 8 years, I met the guy and I said, I want to tell you, the Hashgacha Pratis of me not buying your house, it all worked out. I was sad at the time. My wife was much more sad. She finally she come to Eretz Yisrael. She has a house. He says, what are you talking about? Where were you? We wanted to sell you the house. I lost it to the bank. I never sold it to anybody. What happened to you? I'm like, what? We had this conversation. He said, no, you just walked away from the deal. I said, well, I walked away from the deal. He says, you could have had the house. And I realized it's even a bigger Hashgacha Pratis. Like, for no reason, he claims that he has no idea what I'm talking about. I said, we had that meeting. He said, nah, that was nothing. We're just trying to push you around a little bit. But we want to sell you the house. Okay. Anyway, so I asked him Mechila just in case. He says, no, it's all good. It's that. Fine. Anyway, just thought I would share the story with you because I just met him yesterday. Fine. Zok Tehillah Mishnah. Oh yeah, the Koilel sponsor for the success of our family, and we merit to always crown Hashem. The first Masechta is sponsored Masechta by Molandi, Lili Nishmas Yisuf Baruch by Moshe Aaron, and Lili Nishmas Moshe Elazar ben Nata Shalom for that hatzlacha and Yana for my children. The second Masechta sponsors Jeff Rosner, zchus my son Yosef, Simcha, Chaim, Ben Sar Chana, Refuah Shlaima. The rest of the Masechta Ofishel Mitzva Motivators, Avraham Menashe ben Chana Bracha, Refuah Shlaima. We should all remember to learn our dapim that we took for him, Avraham Menashe ben Chana Bracha. And the first sponsor of the month, Lili Nishmas Zechari ben Moshe. Second sponsor of the month, the MDY Family, Lili Nishmas Ezra Yaakov ben Esadol Yitzchak, Ezra Pollak Olav Shalom. Third sponsor by the Lock and Lebovic families, Lakewood NJ, because Torah is the best gula. The fourth sponsor, Refuah Shlaima, Yecheskel ben Leah Amen. Sponsor of the day, Tamar Shalom. Happy anniversary, Eliyahu. The wives are in it. And thank you, Rav Eli, for bringing more Torah to our home. And by Eitan, Zacharin, Refuah Shlaima, Eugene Ben, Raima, something like that. Yaakov Slatis, 12 yards, Yaakov Slatis, 12 yards out of my grandmother, Beatrice Rubin, Mashu Kazeh, Brindle Bas Chaim Peretzak Koyen. Here we go. We're holding by the Mishnah. We have a very light, easy daf today. Geshmakis stuff. Hamadris Ishtois, the official Mishnah sponsor by Moshe Cohen, zchus for Limanat Torah and continued hatzlacha and parnasa. Hamadris Ishtois Shalitelach LeBeisavia. Wow! I just realized I just heard this Motsei yesterday. Literally yesterday, somebody came over to me and said, "There's somebody in the neighborhood that just got married." Okay, now I just gave away the story. Now there's 45 people just got married. That it's people have this, like the control people and the abusive. She got married to an abuser, and he asked her to go to the Shver's house. That's it. They're done. They don't talk anymore. Now you have to go in for a rescue mission. Happens. Hamadir as ishtosh leitelach lebeisavia. He tells his wife, "I don't like the mother-in-law. I don't like the shviger." We could say insert all the shviger jokes here. You're not going back to your mother's house. Now, if you will go to the mother's house, like we discussed yesterday, if you'll go to the mother's house, then I'm answering all my belongings to you. Or I'm answering relations. As we discussed yesterday, it has to be negaya to something that he's able to, a neder. If the father lives over there in the city, so if it's a month or less, then you could keep the neder. Two, in other words, more than 1 month, that's it. He has to provide her with a get and give a ksuba. If the father lives somewhere else. And it's typical that when parents live out of town, the young couple comes for Yamim Tovim. So it's not a month, it's up to the Yantif. 1 Yantif goes by, up to 1 Yantif, that's okay. Shleisha, 3, Yoitziv eating Ksuba. So we go from 1 to 3. What happened to 2? The Gemara is going to discuss. So Shleisha, if it's for 3 months, 3 Yamim Tovim, then you have to give her a get and a Ksuba. Hamad is Beis Ha'evel. A person tells his wife, "I don't allow you to go to chasanas anymore. I don't let you go to be menachem aval." He's locking the doors. It happens to be, I believe, I'm just making this up, but maybe Rashi in this Mishnah is a world record. Every word he says, mefarish b'gemara, mefarish b'gemara, mefarish b'gemara, over and over. World record. Now don't write to me that you found another Mishnah in Gitin that has one more time. Okay, it's right up there with the most. Mefarish b'gemara. V'mhoya toyen mishum dover acher. Rishai. If he has another reason why he doesn't want her to go to the wedding, what's the other reason? Mefarish b'gemara. Rishai. Amar la. Al menashe tomer leploni mashamarti lach. Mashamart li. There will be a neder going into effect unless you tell people private things. What you told me or what I told you, you should fill up and spill it out into the garbage. The Gemara will explain. For these things, you have to give a get. Says Gemara, in that one line, it says, if it's for 1 yontif, you can't go to your parents for 1 yontif. She lives out of town. Okay, but if 3 of them type, not okay. And what happened with 2? So it's the typical classic question. From the Reish is mashma one way. From the Seif is mashma the other way. If it's for 3 yom typim, you have to divorce her. But you could be medayik hashnayim. But if it's less than 3, you could keep her. You're not mechuyev to divorce her. Very beauty, as we had yesterday. Seif is talking about a Chaim. The Reish is talking about Yisrael. A Chaim gets extra time. So from the Reish is mashma to you have to divorce. Yes, because of Yisrael you have to divorce. The Seif is mashma to Yom Tovim. You don't have to divorce. Yeah, because a Chaim gets extra leeway because there's no backsies. Once he divorces her, can't take her back, so we give him some extra time. If his wife is dying to go back to her parents' house, some women couldn't care less. They get married, they barely go back to their parents' house. Some need to go back every day, some need to go back every week. So it depends on the kala. If she's very used to going back to her, she's homesick, so you have to give her a get. Not homesick. Three of them type is also okay. Says the Gemara, a little bit of agata. Ozo yisi be'enov ki Motsei Shalom. Then, I'll be in his eyes like somebody's looking for perfect. He's perfect. What does that mean? Omer b'yochen ki kala. Shbarach was saying about Klal Yisrael. Ki kala shenimtze shleima beveis chamia. Like a kala who's perfect in her father-in-law's house. She's dying to go back to her parents and tell her parents what a great cat she found, and she married this great guy. He's unbelievable. She loves it over there, and she wants to tell her parents. She's redufa. It's like similar to what we just said. A woman who's dying to go back to her parents. Not anymore. I mean, once he makes nidarim on her and stuff, okay, that's a different story. But v'haya b'yom hahu. Because Baruch says today it's not like this, but one day it's going to be Nu'um Hashem. You're going to say, Hashem says, Tikri Ishi, you're going to call me your husband. Now I'm not your husband yet, it says Hashem. Now we're just engaged. I'm a chassid. But one day we're going to be that close. You're going to call me your husband. You're not going to call me your master. It's interesting in Hebrew, a husband is a baal, like a master. I don't know why exactly. Baali, baal. It's a lashon of master, but Hashem says no. I'm not going to be your master. I'm going to be your husband. She loves her husband like a kala that lives by her father-in-law. In other words, newlyweds. Like a kala, not like a kala who's only engaged and still remains at her father's house. She loves her husband much more when she's married. Says the Gemara, okay, I can understand. A husband that doesn't allow his wife to go to any chasanas, it's a terrible thing. He tells his wife he can never go. Isn't that a good thing? Why is that a bad thing? Why do you get divorced over that? Says the Gemara, Tana. Says the Gemara, unbelievable aside. The way it works in this world, some people, the Goyim call it karma. What goes around comes around. No one will show up to her levaya. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will do it in a way that she's going to die in a place, out of town, somewhere in the desert. Nobody's going to come to her funeral. Why? Because she didn't go to other people's funerals. They're not going to bury her. Why did he say it's better to go to a mourner's house than to go to a wedding? Now, I heard that by the Sfardim, it's unbelievable. Michael? How is it over there by the Beis Eivel? A lot of food. That's kach shemati. Not really? Not in America? Tomer, anybody? It's true. Yeah, it is. Okay. But the weddings by Sfardim is even more food, so I don't know exactly. Fine. Moment? Depends how happy they are that he died. Okay. The elder Bachrim always say it's much better to go to the because nobody says Emir Tashem soon by you. That's the end of everybody. The people that are alive should pay attention to this. Think about that. You have to think about Rosh Hashanah. You have to think about the end. We're not here forever. It's interesting to point out that the Sefer Hasidim and others they take this pasuk and they use it also for Torah. That some parts of Torah are not as popular. Yeah, you have Baba Kama, Noshim, Nezikin, Dar Masechtas, for instance, Moed Katan, a lot of people don't want to learn. They say it's Sakana, or Perik Mishamesu, they talk about, you're not supposed to talk, it's a little bit of... He says, no. So if Chasim says, if nobody learns it and you jump in and you learn it, that's Torah Lechas Beis HaOivel, Lechas Beis HaMishta. You get tremendous schar for learning that part of the Torah that nobody else learns. The Sofed is Bedune. If you give a spadim at people's funerals, they will be masped you. The Kavar Yigberune. You bury people, they'll bury you. They Dal You're sitting there and crying, they're going to cry for you. The Levaya Levune. If you're Melava the mace, they'll Melava you, the company the mace. The Ta'an Yitanune, and if you carry the dead, they'll carry you. The Kitzer, it's Mida Keneged Mida, and that's why she could say, listen, if you don't allow me to go to all these things and do these things, what's going to be with me? It's not going to be good for me, so I demand a divorce. Interesting. Like, what happens to her after she dies is more important than her marriage right now to her husband. She wants to get divorced now, so she has a good levaya. Okay. No, I'm saying, I once read somewhere, and it's okay if you tell me where. It's a famous book, I think, that the guy's book was all about you should live your life how you want people to eulogize you. You want people to be masked with you. What do you want people to say at your husband? That's how you should live your life. You want them to say you're a great basketball player. You want them to say you're a good learner. What do you want them to say? Whatever. That's how you should live your life. You're a nice guy. You're this. You're that. So maybe that's what it is here. My dover acher. What does it mean, dover acher? Now, I pointed out just a few weeks ago. The Gemara always talks about dover acher, and it always. I still don't know pshat exactly. Dover acher. Sometimes it means a chazer. Sometimes it means teras. Sometimes it means both together. A chazer that has teras. Sometimes it means zchus. Sometimes it means this. And then the Gemara always says the same thing. My dover acher. So just say it. Like it means 10 different things. So the Belzer told me yesterday he thinks that if you say this, somebody was saying that if you say tsaras, you get tsaras. The Gemara doesn't want to say the word. It's like dangerous to say it in chazer. Okay, lashon nekiya for tsaras. For chazer, okay. Lashon nekiya, the people are making not to say chazer, they say pig or whatever they like to say. They don't even say the word. Ugh. But there's things that okay, fine. Let's see if it's a lashon nekiya over here now or sugya. There's a guy that on Rosh Hashanah night, because it's almost Rosh Hashanah, gotta see the Maisa. He shows up, the people bring out the fish, the head of the fish. He brings out a head of a pig. Head of a pig. He said, it says in the bencher that you should bring a head of a fish. V'mein loy, yovi roish shel dover acher. What? As I steht, meinst schon? My dover acher, Amar Vidam Shmuel. Mishum bnei Adam prutzim shemitzuyim sham. Dover acher means he's concerned about lowlifes that drag around in the weddings a place, you drink, you have a good time. He's worried, he doesn't want his wife to hang out there. That's dover acher. So it's a new pirush of dover acher. It has nothing to do with chazer, nothing to do with that. Pritzus. Okay, so it's a lashon nekiya, he says, even in Pritzus. Omer Rashi. Lo yamar no, this chazik. These people, parrots, it's sakana for her to go there. Aleis chazik, like a kamine. We can't be concerned about some sort of maybe there's some people there. No. Vim omar lo amanasha toimi. He tells her the shvuah bichal. If you don't, you have to say a certain thing. Something private. V'tema. Let her just say it. No, we're talking about something that's embarrassing, something private. Most likely one of the pshatim is intimacy. So she doesn't want to say it. So this is interesting. What does it mean? She's filling it up and she's going to spill it out. So let her fill up a bucket of water and spill it out. It's a lashon. This is really a lashon nekiya. What it means is that she gets rid of the zera, and that she doesn't want, as we're going to see soon. No, another pshat. This is not a lashon. You don't need a lashon. He literally says, take 10 pails of water and pour it out. Do 10 jumping jacks. Do something stupid. If the pshat is zera, okay. So either the pshat is, how can he tell her to not abort, but not allow a pregnancy to happen? She wants to have children, like we said. A woman is allowed to say that. She needs people to bury her when she gets older. She needs people to take care of her when she's older. Or it's halachically asur. She doesn't want to do something that's asur. Elo l'masnisa, but according to the pshat in the brayso, then it means literally fill up 10 pails of water and spill them out somewhere. So let her just do it. Why do you have to get divorced over that? She has the right to say, I don't want to look foolish. Go out and filling up good water, spilling it on the street. Going, filling. Why? Because my husband said, no, I don't want to act like that. You can't demand something like that from me. I want a divorce. I have pictures if you don't know what it is. Here's the napo ukvara, sifters. And here's the Chaim. I love this picture. That's it. It's my go-to picture now because you actually see how it works. Spill the kernels in the center and you just turn the wheel, the two stones, but this is a portable one. So he tells his wife, I don't allow you to borrow this from the neighbor. I don't let you lend it to the neighbor. I don't let you lend our oven. There's a tanner, there's a one, there's a double one that's called a kirai. Fine. Why? She looks like she's stingy. Everybody knows she has a nice rechaim at home. She doesn't want to lend a drill. Get divorced. You don't let me lend stuff to the neighbors. You don't let me be nice to the neighbors. I'm out of here. Same thing, same words. And if the nether came from her, she said, I'm not going to lend anything. I'm not going to borrow anything. I'm not going to sew any nice clothing for your children. Why? He looks like a bad guy, like a stingy guy, and he has the right to divorce her. The official Heilige Mishnah is sponsored by Moshe Cohen zchus for Limanat Torah and continued hatzlacha in Parnaso. These are those who go out, women who don't deserve a ksuba. Whether it's 200, 100, what is their sin? Hoiveres aldas Moshe Yehudis. If the Gemara, we're going to see exactly what that means. If she's over Yisurim Doiraisa or Minhagim, also Vezi das Moshe. Give me an example of something that has to do with him. Let's say she's Mechal Shabbos. There's nothing to do with the husband. You don't divorce her on that. But if she does the Issa Doiraisa that has to do with her, for instance, she purposely feeds him food without taking trumas and maisers. And the Gemara is going to describe. She tells him, "Don't worry, it's good. Maiser was taken." She doesn't tell him that she's a nida and it's an iser kares. She doesn't take off chala, which is also machalas asuras. The same thing would be if she feeds him chazer, treif. Same thing. And she makes a neder, and she doesn't keep her nedarim. It's again the nedarim that we're talking about, ben and levena, these kind of things. Vezi das yudis, and what does it mean a minhag? Yoitza v'roisha perua. She goes out without a shaital, without a head covering. So the Gemara is going to ask right away. That's the issa deraisa. To go out without your hair covered is the issa deraisa. Maybe some people don't know that 100%, or maybe they know and they don't care. But it's issa deraisa like any other issa deraisa. So why are you calling it a das Yehudis? V'toiva bashuk. I found this fascinating because when I came home last night, late at night, somebody sent me from the Rabbanim here in the neighborhood, and this women from our Shiur that had a race yesterday in RVS, and they're saying, and then the Rabbanim said, "How dare you? It's not a thing for a woman to do." Here it says, if a woman just does some needlework in an open place, that alone is enough not to give her ksuba. I'm not going one way or the other. I'm just saying in the Mishnah. How she sits. Oh, we're going to see in a second how she sits. Right. Okay. But, okay. I hear what you're saying. You're saying it's about tznius. Or she just shoots the breeze with other men. She doesn't get a ksuba. If she curses his parents in front of him, and the Gemara is going to say, if she curses his parents in front of his children, same thing. This woman that cursed their husbands says, I heard a lady saying, I curse you that when you get hagba, your pants should fall off. Fine. Anyways, whatever. Or when you go to the bathroom, you should step on Lego, and then you get back into bed. You forget to turn the lights off. The whole thing. Okay, fine. But this is not what we're talking about. We're talking about cursing the parents. Cursing what? No. That's why there's no get. Only cursing the parents, which I also heard, by the way. Oh, your parents, not my wife, but Okay. Zog the Gemara. Mishnah. Somebody with a loud voice, when she's in her domain, the Gemara is going to describe exactly what it is. It's more about intimacy, embarrassing things. What's the story with her giving him food that doesn't have ma'aser? If he knows that it's not musa nifrosh, let him take ma'aser. He doesn't know minoyada. So then, how did he know? How did he find out? And if she told him, we can't believe her anyways. They made some matzmirasha, whatever it is. You should know so and so did the trumas and meisters. One day he's talking to the guy. He says, "Oh, thank you for taking trumas and meisters." He says, "I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even know who your wife is. She never spoke to me." He found out that he's a liar. She's a liar. What's the case over there? Same thing. If he knew she's a nida, nifresh, then it's his fault. Why should she not get a ksuba? If he doesn't know, she said she's tar. You could be soymech domer. How do you know that a woman has nemanos to count the days? I have a question for the Olam. Why is it when a nida counts 7 days, she doesn't do Sfiras Haimer, Sfiras accounting? Sfira. Taisus asked the question. Because it's very shchiach to break the count. You have to start all over. You only count when you have a full Sfira, when you know you're going to get to the end. Or that you could get to the end without any breaking. Says, she lies again. She says, I went to the rabbi told me it's okay. And he found out that she's lying. Refuah says, if a woman is known to be a nida, in other words, in those days they used to wear special nida clothing, they had white clothing. So her neighbors noticed that, and they told the husband, and they warned him. And then, if he doesn't listen to the neighbors, he gets malchus. There's certain things, like if somebody is with his own mother, you kill him, or whatever. Do you have to get a birth certificate and prove and video witnesses that this is the real mother? No. People say this is the mother, it's the mother. If neighbors say she's a nida, she's a nida. You don't need testimonies and this and that. It's a known thing. It becomes some mela over here also. So in our case too, it's just known. It became known afterwards. The neighbors came to him and said, you know, by the way, your wife, we saw her with her special clothing, and mela, that's how he knows retroactively that, and she doesn't deserve a ksuba. Again, if there's no chala, nifresh, let him take chala himself. If he know, nifresh. If he doesn't know, minoyada. So then how did he find out? The needer, he took off the chala, so he found out she's lying. What happened? The famous thing, we had it recently, but they told me it's not true. I searched, I couldn't find it. The pasuk of Layumsu, no, that's a different pasuk. Ish b'cheta yumasu. Ish b'cheta yumasu. There's a concept that children don't die because of the sins of the parents. However, that doesn't apply to very young children. So and And Nedarim also might be a little different. People who swear and they don't keep it, then their children die young. Let's see if I have it over here. Yeah. This is a very long pasuk. Why would Hashem be upset? All that in the pasuk it says he's gonna be mechabel. He'll destroy the Motsei Yodai. What's Motsei Yodai? Hashem will destroy your children because of what the pasuk says all the way in the beginning, the Nadar. Because of shav, because of a neder of for nothingness, I struck your children. Lashav aliski shav. Because of a neder. If a person knows that his wife makes nedarim and she doesn't keep them, he should go back and make more nedarim. But my misakin, how exactly is that going to help? He should bother her. He should chepper her. Push the right buttons. He knows what buttons to push. And then she's going to blurt out her neder. And he'll say, okay. And he'll go to a private room and say, I'm made for the neder. So in her mind, she can't do X, Y, Z. He made it, he's made for, and therefore, he's misakin it. A person cannot live like in this picture, can't live with a snake. Why? Because you never know when the snake will turn around and bite you. So in this case also, you think that you got her nedarim, tomorrow she's going to make another when you don't know about it. What's a good mashal for us before Rosh Hashanah? No, somebody? Ein adam dar b'kfifa achas im nachash. An unfiltered phone. You don't know. You think you're okay. You're controlling. All of a sudden, boom! It gets you. Bites you when you're not ready. How to stick that in? Zok the Gemara. A person knows that his wife doesn't take challah. So you pretend you don't know. You go and take challah. You don't know when she's gonna strike. One day you're gonna eat her cookies and you're gonna forget to take challah. Says Gemara, the one that says it on challah, certainly nedar, because at least challah you see it. Nedarim, I guess you don't know. What? Motsei, yeah, it's there all the time. Nedarim not. Avaman demasnehach. Aval ha by challah zimnin the mikri v'achel. So challah, there's much more of a chance that he's going to be nichshal. Ve'ezed das Yehudas Yosef Rosh Perua. Says the Gemara, Rosh Perua deraisi. What's considered a minhag? If your wife goes out without covering her hair. It says by the saita that the kayan uncovers her head. So Rashi says he likes this shot more, that it seems like a woman must cover her hair, and the kayan only in this situation uncovers her hair. So you see a smach midarais that a woman should cover her hair. Here you see in the pasuk that it's a isser deraisa to walk in the street with your head uncovered. Says the Gemara, you're right. Deraisa kalta shapir dami. So it goes like this. If you look in today's Ori Merkaz, so Rabbi Shomer has a beautiful piece on this. He goes through this, not so much shaitel, but this thing here. This is a picture of a wicker basket that the bottom has actually like a little bit of a, if you can see, like a yarmulke shape that fits over the head, and it helps you carry the basket. That's pretty much what Rashi says over here that we're talking about. Now, what's the problem with this is, it's sort of like this. Check this out. I found a picture like this. In other words, you could actually, the guy's riding his motorcycle with one of these on his head, so it's not 100% covering the hair. You could see the hair through the holes. So midaraisa, it's okay. But midarabanan, since you could see a little bit of the hair, they said it's asur. Okay? That's what's going on here. Kalta shapir dami. Midaraisa, the word before that is deraisa kalta shapir dami. Sponsored in honor of Yankee Bam, Moshe Horn, bracha hatzlacha chol anyanim. In honor of my uncle, Rav Elchanan Pressman, zchus, bracha hatzlacha and all get the zchus. But Das Yehudis, the minig is, afilu kaltanami also. We're makbid even not to go with a wicker basket. I say this every time we learn the sugya, is that covering here is a very interesting kind of isser or mitzvah, in that a non-married woman, according to most Rishonim, doesn't have to cover her hair. She could be a 20-year-old girl, and she doesn't have to cover her hair. But a married woman who's 97 years old has to cover her hair. So it's not so much about taivas. It's more about halacha al-Moshe Sinai, that you have to cover your hair. And in fact, la halacha, I think, you could uncover your hair in your own property, as we're going to see here, even if strange men are there. You don't have to cover your hair, la halacha midaraisa, in front of other men. So, but if it was erva, like we know erva, but I don't know, up here, the knees, above the knee, that it doesn't matter if you're in your house or not in your house. You always have to cover that because not to be machshel other people. So here is a little bit different than everything else. That's how I understand it. Other people might be mecholik on that. If you wear one of these baskets over your head, it's not considered uncover your hair. Haviba, Reb Zera, Heicha, Eli Bashuk. What exactly happened? If she's out in the open, that's Yehudisi. But there is a mitig not to walk around like that with holy baskets that people can see through. Ve'ela b'chatzer, she's in her own house. What? So anytime a woman walked in her house without her hair uncovered, so you divorce her and you don't give her a ksuba? Everybody's does that. Here's a picture. So this is from Eruvin. Here's the 5-town woman with a basket on her head, and check out what happens. She goes from her chatzar, from her green, and the middle thing is called a mavui. The basket is supposed to be upside down. That's how she wears it. She wears it over her head. I'm not a good artist and whatever. What? Huh? The wording somehow came backwards. I'm not exactly sure why. But that's not important. It says mavui mafulish if you want to know. Right. This is not a good, I didn't have a good picture of it. Yeah, they don't, on Google. It's 2 parts. I know, that's why I showed the first picture. You have one that goes like this over, and you have the other one. So here sticks out this way, that way, holes, the whole thing, the whole problem. Okay. This is not an accurate picture, but the point is she went from her chatzar to another chatzar, passing by somewhat of a private domain. You can see the highway on the bottom and the top. That she didn't do. She went through That's the problem over here. That's why he's divorcing her. What's the problem of Tviyah B'shuk? She's showing when she weaves, her sleeves go up and she shows her arms to people. Rav Chizda Amar, and that's also Rav Chizda Amar Avimi, B'toiva vered keneged panel, because the way she's sitting, keneged panel is a lashon akiyah of private parts, and she brings the thread down, and it attracts your eye to that part, and that's the isser. She flirts with the young boys, and that's why he divorced without a ksuba. I was once with Rav Vukva. I saw this Arab, the Haviyasa, she was sitting. She was kneading over there, vered keneged panel, not in a tznius way. It brought attention to her thighs. Kivin de chaztinon psikte. She stopped. She saw us. She stopped. Lepilcha shadite psikte lepilcha shadite. She threw it down on the floor. Amr Li. She struck up a conversation. Ulem, young man. Havli pelach. Do me a favor. Bend down. Get me my needle. Amar bar Ravukva milsa. So Ravukva said, "This is what we're talking about." My Amar bar. What did he say? Ravino Amar B'shuk Amar says, "This is exactly the story of the Mishnah in Kesubos Daf Beis. Mamish like this. We have a woman who is sitting not properly in a public place. You're talking about not proper public place. And tefillah, yes, but when they wear whatever they're wearing and jogging, okay, I'm not going into it. My wife herself did the marathon in Miami. It actually happened to be one of my proudest moments in my life because she fell down a flight of stairs the day before and she got injured seriously. She heard the alarm. I was in Eretz Yisrael actually. She heard the alarm in the house and she got scared. She thought there's a fire, so she ran down in the dark and she fell down a flight of stairs and she ripped her muscle. And she ran the entire marathon. Well, not 26 and a half, 13 miles. Very, very proud of her then. Okay, I'm not saying it's mutter. I'm not saying it's us. It was before I was a Magid Shiur. Ravina Amar Tova B'Shuk Amar Ba. Rabbanan Amri Midaberesim Kol Adam Amar Ba. Anyways, what was his point? His point was, look, she's sitting improperly, or she's talking to people. She told the bacher to pick it up. This is not what we do. That's what the Mishnah says. You get divorced without a ksuba. Let's just get to the Mishnah. By the way, Motsei Shabbos, even though the slichas and everything, regular time, 9:30. Those who want to go to other slichas could go to the morning. We're not going to do 11:30 like we thought. 9:30. Dr. Epstein, what time is Shiur Motsei Shabbos? 9:30. Thank you very much. Omar Shol, Abba Shol Omer. Avam Kalelis Yoda Befano. Omar Rav Yehuda Omar Shmuel. B'Kalelis Yelida B'Fnei Melidov. She's cursing the parents, the one who gave birth to him, B'Fnei Melidov, in front of his own children. And to remember this, Ephraim and Menashe, Keruv and Yuli, we treat the grandchildren like children. In other words, you go from generation 1 to generation 3, that's also considered cursing in front of. How about you go on a safari and a lion eats up the shver? Right in front of my husband. I wish my husband witnesses the whole thing. Michael, that's what I'm saying. Like the woman says, step on Lego. Saying that's even worse than seeing your father-in-law die in front of it. Okay. Michael, talking about private things. If you get here during intimacy. So Rashi points out, we're talking about sounds that come from pain, not pleasure. So if so, that should be in the Mishnah that talks about people that have problems, mums. Ella, machvartik, it means she's just talking, schmoozing, not in the act, schmoozing about it, that she can refuse to say, and she goes out. He has to divorce her, yeah? Have a wonderful Shabbos. Givaldik.